Hi everyone, I haven't been on here for ages. I thought I'd come across to Instagram instead of being on Facebook for a change and try out the Instagram live again. I wanted to just update you on something fairly cool that Laurie LB Art, I'll put her link in the description later. And I did this weekend. It was her idea and it was just very cool. So what you're seeing in front of you here is a painting cloth. It's got acrylic paint on it, and this is Laurie's painting cloth, which was the result of a painting workshop with Anya Devine. We did some mixed media flowers, and Laurie had a look at her cloth and said, actually, the cloth itself is pretty much an abstract work of art. And so we played around with some ideas on whether we could turn the cloth into a book cover and create a sketchbook with these covers, these cloths as covers. So Laurie had two and I had one. Hers, I have to say, were much more colourful than mine, but I think I'm going to need to work on that. Right, so here's her cloth, or what's left of it. The first thing we had to do was work out how to turn a piece of what was originally an old duvet cover and then had been painted into a book cover, into something that we could use on a book. So the first problem is going to be that if you just use it as it is, it will stretch in time. So step number one was to do a bit of research. And I'll show you what we did here. So I'm doing this with one hand, so forgive me if the video is a bit wobbly. So this is step number one, is to take your cloth, and this is my one of my pieces, and apply a piece of, in this case, rice paper. You can use tissue paper or rice paper to the back of the cloth. With glue, we made our own wheat paste, which was something that we picked up. We did a little bit of research and let that dry. Once it dries, you have effectively got this, which is cloth with the paper glued to the back. And that now is stable enough to use as a book cover. Then you've got the problem of sort of working out your book cover size and all the rest of it, but that's just standard book binding. And I just want to show you how these turned out in the end, because we did actually manage to make ourselves some books. This is my book. It's quite funky. So that's the cloth cover on the front. That's the back cover. We used some handmade Indian silk paper as the end papers. And I chose to put various different papers in mine. Some of them are different widths, so you get a bit of an overlap there. And I was just played around with different colours. So I've got some brown ones. The binding isn't perfect. We need to do a little bit of work on that, but that's just practice. The main idea was to experiment with the cloth to see if we could get that to work. So we're really happy with that, and we'll definitely do some more of those. So that's mine. Laurie managed to make 3. So this is the first one of hers. They've just come out of the homemade book binding press, which is basically just a stack of very heavy books. But so this is Laurie's beautiful end papers. She's also used different coloured papers. We've got various cartridges and watercolour paper, and that's hers. So there's the different elements of her green cloth, which is what you can see the rest of there. Now to move this with my non-dominant hand and show you her other 2, which have now been in the press, the homemade heavy book press, for 24 hours. And I haven't looked at these before, so hopefully I'm not, they've worked out all right. So again, some more really lovely end papers. And this is her small book, also made with the green cloth. And this is, I just think, the most beautiful cover. It's great. Isn't that gorgeous? Look at those splashes of orange. Sorry, it doesn't look great looking on the